back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Keera. And if you like urban legends, spooky things, anything weird and unexplainable, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. So for today's video, it is a little different than what I usually post on this channel. And many of you might be wondering, Keera, where have you been? It's been so long, what's new? I can't recap every single thing that's happened in the last few months, but what I can say has been a lot of me working at a lot of long hours. But I will say the most exciting thing that happened to me was I took my first trip to Mexico. You might be thinking, wow, that sounds like such a good time. And it was, until it became a complete nightmare. But let's start from the beginning. April 29th, we woke up at 3 a.m. and made our way to the airport. Since it was our first time flying alone without experienced flyers, we decided to show up a little bit early just so we had enough time and didn't feel as rushed. And before we knew it, we were boarding our plane, getting ready to take off at 6 a.m. We were so excited we didn't end up vlogging in the beginning, especially on our first flight and in the airport. Mostly because we were trying to figure out where we needed to go and kind of going through the process of getting on the plane for the first time without other people with us. But after a 3-hour flight and some turbulence, we ended up in Denver. And I am going to warn you, I look rough in the videos that we shot in the airports. I did not dress up to impress. I was preparing for a whole day's worth of traveling. So I don't want to hear a comment be like, wow, Keira looks really rough in these videos. Trust me, I know. We had 2 hours to wait in Denver, so we grabbed some matcha drinks and some fruit, found a spot to sit, and just watched some planes through the window. Denver Airport is quite big, so we decided to walk around and explore a little bit. We ended up only bringing backpacks with us, no suitcases, so it was easy just to get up and wander around because we had everything we needed on our backs. And since we didn't have too much time, we thought we would film a video about the Denver International Airport when we were coming back from Mexico, because we were gonna look all tan, be all nice, have more time to film and explore Denver Airport, because there's a lot of creepy things that happens there and have been said to kind of reside there, from lizard people and a whole bunch of other stuff. But we never ended up getting to do that. After some fun on the little walkways that move, and just exploring the basic area without getting lost, we decided to make our way back to our gates to wait for boarding. At 11:07 a.m., they announced that we would begin boarding. So we moved closer to our gates and sat there, waiting, and waiting, and even more waiting. We were watching planes leave, and I was staring at this coffee sleeve for around what felt like 10 minutes. Speaking of subscribing, why don't you subscribe? Stick around. Learn some urban legends, some paranormal things while you're here. Anyways, back to our trip. So we're still waiting. All to find out it was because the plane that arrived came late and they were still cleaning the plane. And we sat there for a while. Since we were one of the last ones to board, it felt like we were sitting there forever, just waiting and being so excited to get on the plane and get to Cancun. After 30 minutes, we were finally in line to board the plane. We made our way down the hallway leading to the plane, entered the plane, and walked all the way to the back of the plane to find our seats. And we were the seats in the very back of the plane. We did have screens on our seats, which was fantastic. We watched Star Wars pretty much the whole way there. But we were also right next to the bathrooms. Which, if you know, if you're sitting next to the bathrooms on the plane, it's a very hot spot. People just love to constantly be going in and out of the bathroom. The amount of times I got elbowed or kind of touched on my shoulder because people were trying to balance themselves, trying to head to the bathroom, was astounding. And since I was on the aisle seat, it was not a great time. I heard 1 or 2 toots coming out of that bathroom, and I was not enjoying it. But besides that, there were decent seats. As we settled in, before we knew it, we were on our way to Cancun, Mexico.
So Rose, we're good to go. Thank you.
And just the thought of in 4 hours we would be sitting on a beach, probably sipping virgin pina coladas, having a great time, getting all tan, and just being so excited. I was also very determined to see a shark while I was there. Because you guys probably don't know this, I've never brought it up, but I love sharks. So that was my goal. Did I end up seeing a shark? No, which is okay. I have my whole life to do that. To be fair, we did play Monopoly on my iPad for pretty much the whole flight. And let's just say, I won majority of the times we played when we were flying out there. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm just skilled in Monopoly apparently. And for the most part, I tried not to use the toilet and the bathroom on the plane because I'm not gonna lie to you, it scares me. And I know I can't be the only one that's scared to use the bathroom on an airplane. But when we were flying out there, I had to pee, so I sucked it up and I walked to the bathroom, which to be fair was only like 3 steps. The bathroom had these cool blue lights in there, and I thought, wow, this is crazy. How do people see in here? And halfway through peeing in the bathroom with these blue lights, I realized I'm kind of dumb. I didn't lock the door. I swear, turbulence. I did not lock that door. And halfway through peeing, it took me half of the time that I was in that bathroom to realize that I didn't lock the door properly. But I finished in the bathroom, I didn't get sucked into the toilet like my irrational fear made me think, and continued playing Monopoly. But as we were getting closer to Cancun, the seatbelt warning light came on because we were about to hit pretty bad turbulence as we got closer to Cancun. And as we got closer, as we looked out the window, you could finally see that white sand and the beautiful water that we were flying over that we were intentionally trying not to look at. But once we could see the land, it got a lot easier and we started to get way more excited. And I don't know about you, but the scariest part for me being on the plane is the landing. At exactly 3:33 p.m. And from when I looked it up, the angel number 333 indicates a powerful symbol of encouragement, growth, and spiritual alignment, along with pursuing your goals with confidence. And I can say, oh boy, we went into Cancun with a lot of confidence that we would have the best vacation of our lives. Finally, our plane had landed and we had arrived in Cancun.
We wish you a fantastic trip here in Cancun. Once again, please come back and see us. It's been a pleasure having you on board with us today. Thank you and have a great week.
We stayed on the plane for quite some time, probably around 20 to 30 minutes. And since we were in the very back, we were the last ones to get off. But eventually, we did get off the plane, and man, stepping from inside the plane to outside the plane, the humidity and how hot it was unreal. Completely different to anything I've ever felt in my life. So we just got off the plane. What did you say it smells like?
Ocean. Like, have you ever been to Vancouver?
No.
That's what it smells like.
It smells like Vancouver. What would you rate the flights?
It wasn't so bad.
Like out of 10.
Kind of claustrophobic.
Out of 10.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? I'd give it an 8 out of 10 too. The landing scared me and the turbulence. From the point when we went through customs, went through the whole process, we eventually had to try and find our shuttle to the hotel. And I will say, when I was in university, I did take 2 Spanish classes. Did it help me at all? No, not one bit. But eventually, when we walked outside, we saw somebody holding a clipboard and asking us for our names. From there, he gave us a tiny little red sticker. And we're currently trying to find our shuttle. So tiny, like this little sticker could have blown away in the wind. It was that tiny. It was so hot we can feel it through our sweatpants and everything. It's crazy. And after around 6 to 7 minutes of walking, we finally found our shuttle. And I will say, the shuttle ride was the scariest part of this whole trip. We thought we were going to die multiple times, but I'll just show you. Okay, so we found our shuttle. So, he sacrificed the seatbelts for me and Al instead of himself.
Nice to
Nice
meet
to
you.
meet you. We're about to see Mexican traffic.
With no seatbelts.
Palm trees. Ocean. After 15 minutes from our ride to the airport to the hotel, we finally arrived. And we proceeded to check in. After a whole day of traveling, we are so excited to check into our room and finally just settle in. What do you think of the hotel so far?
It's beautiful. Beautiful. The fountain in the front, palm trees, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
7th floor too. It's great.
Well, we'll see about the room. We're going to the 7th floor. So I ended up filming a room tour, but so did Brandon. So I don't want to deprive you of seeing both perspectives. So I'm going to show you both. Enjoy. When we walked in, we were impressed with the room. Big and spacious. We had a king-size bed with our own individual nightstands. A huge TV and cupboard for extra storage. The layout was really nice, and the tall mirror is always appreciated. We also had a balcony with some sitting areas. At first glance, you might think the view was not the best, but we had a beautiful view of the ocean, along with a full view of palm trees and a lagoon.
This is the room. So nice. Got a nice little closet. Got a safe up here. Nice bathroom over here. Shower. Nice little bathroom. Big TV, king size bed. Little cutie patootie. We got the balcony over here. Nice ocean view right there. Yeah, it's just beautiful out here.
So the first thing we did when we settled in is we put on shorts and tank tops because we were sweating pretty bad in our sweatpants and hoodies, and then made our way down to explore the hotel and the beach. At first, we were taken aback by how beautiful everything there was. From the pools, the palm trees, these little birds that were jumping around everywhere, but most especially the beach. What do you think?
Great.
We went into the ocean and also sat in the sand for a little bit while the sun was setting.
Oh, the birches flew by you. The wave took you out, that'd be crazy. They are strong, you can feel them, hey? They are strong, you can feel them, hey? Like, holy.
And the smell of the ocean and the salt coming from the ocean is a smell that I couldn't even describe. You have to experience it once in your life for yourself.
going for the cake, whatever that is.
At the hotel, there was a lot of different food options. There was an open buffet, along with a few restaurants that you could pick from as well. But for those ones, you would have to make a reservation, which we ended up making a reservation for one of the restaurants for our second night there. But at that point, since we had been traveling all day, we decided to go to the open buffet, grab some supper, have some desserts. And by the time we were done in the buffet, the sun had already set. When we woke up, we were so excited. We got dressed, put on our bathing suits, put clothes over top, went down, had breakfast at the buffet, walked around for a little bit, and then instantly got into the pool. And this is where we made our first mistake. It was pretty cloudy that morning, so we didn't think to put on any sunscreen for a few hours. And after swimming in the pool for an hour, Brandon trying to teach me how to swim, but I'm really good at doing like the spinny thing. I'll just show you.
Wow! Yeah, that's very impressive.
And after an hour of being in the pool, trying to show Brandon cool swimming tricks and him telling me that I'm not good at swimming, that he was gonna teach me. Also, he didn't end up teaching me. I know how to swim, I'm just not good at it. But after an hour in the pool, we went down to the beach. And still, no sunscreen. So day one of Mexico.
It's nice out here. Fantastic.
With the beach behind us.
Gorgeous view. Having the beach as a backyard is pretty nice.
I just want to see a shark. I know we probably won't, but I'm just saying if I died by a shark, I wouldn't be disappointed by that wave. That would be my way to go out. Look how nice that is. Here to go in? You sure?
Yeah, sand feels nice though. Like cold.
You look so scared.
That was huge. Like my eyes right now?
Yes, because there's salt in the water. It really pulled you out.
Go in. You okay? No, no, no! Just wiped out the whole thing.
At this point, we were on the beach for an additional maybe hour, hour and a half. Who knows, we were just having too much fun. But we noticed we started to get really red. So we decided we'll go back up to the hotel room, apply some aloe vera, put some sunscreen on, have some water, and then we'll go back down and sit under the umbrellas and have some drinks. Then we went back into the pool for quite some time, and then we went back to the beach, and then we kept going back and forth. Time was just flying by, and we were just so in awe of just the beaches and the pool and the warm weather and just everything. But we are also very mesmerized by Jared. And you might be wondering, who's Jared? Let me show you. What's his name?
Jared.
Jared?
Jared.
Jared?
Jared.
How would you spell that, Jared?
I almost died on the beach like 4 times. The ocean does not like me. I like it.
Yeah, they almost pulled her in,
We were just sitting there, like close to the shore there, where there's almost no water. So the waves came up and then pulled her back in. It was a pretty big one, and then she like almost went underneath the water. It was fucking crazy.
No, we were sitting there. I was looking for seashells, and he came and sat next to me. And I swear, I got waterboarded by the ocean, and then waterboarded again. So much sand and water went into my nose, my mouth, my eyes. And he just sat there and laughed as I was legit waterboarded.
It was funny though. Hey, it got me too. It's not as bad.
Yeah, me it was pretty bad. Like, I could not see anything.
Yeah, well, it hit me pretty good. It burned your eyes. It burned your eyes pretty good.
I thought I was gonna have to go in and rescue him at one point because he got hit by 2 waves and then pulled out by the current a little bit, like at the shore. What was the one where I started crawling? So a huge wave came and hit me. I swear I did a death drop. My knee went out from behind me and I just went under. And Brandon's holding my hand still as I'm being swept away by the freaking water. And then it got to the point where I couldn't get up fast enough and I seen another wave coming and he let go of my hand. And I started crawling towards the shore as if that was gonna save me. It didn't. So far, it's been good.
Yeah, great.
Day 1 seems like a success. We've just been in the water and in the sun all day.
Oh, it's my cup. It's underneath. Good chair. I'm so burnt.
Yeah, you burned so far pretty bad. But hey, we'll go back a little bit tan.
Yeah.
We're also sitting on the beach and there's a lot of people trying to sell us things. Oh no.
I feel like
People are coming to buy things. Just tell them no. You tell them no. With your seashell on your nipple. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you like them? You're Aquaman? You're master of the sea?
Young way.
With your seashells?
King of Atlantis.
And if you haven't noticed in that clip, Brandon's pretty much the same color as the umbrella. At this point, we weren't feeling too great and decided to head back up to our hotel room. And that's where we realized we were the color of lobsters. How bad does your skin hurt from 1 to 10?
11.
Mine too. We're gonna go get aloe vera or lotion or something. But as we're looking in our own reflections, being lobsters, somebody else gets in the elevator with us. She's looking at the ground at first and then looks up at us and goes, "Oh, you guys are so red. Did you wear sunscreen? You should wear sunscreen next time." We are flabbergasted because outside we didn't think we looked that red. But as soon as we walked indoors, it was bad. Mission complete. $20 American, but this is gonna feel so nice. Once we grabbed some aloe vera from the gift shop, which by the way, it was very overpriced, we lathered ourselves in it and stayed in our room for the rest of the night. We didn't sleep much because we were in so much pain and the sunburn was so bad. It was to the point where we were both shivering in our bed. The blanket covers were rough and scratchy, so we couldn't cover ourselves. But when we covered ourselves, we would get extremely hot and uncomfortable as well. So we were just laying on the bed, just shivering. I almost threw up once because of how bad the pain was. And we probably got not even 4 hours of sleep that night. And when I say the sunburn was everywhere, it was pretty much almost everywhere on our body. The next morning, we woke up in extreme amount of pain. You're so red, move your hands. We were multitude of different colors, variations of very pale white, the way that my hand is shaking, and then extremely red. We both decided it would not be a good idea to go into the sun at all that day. until we were at least feeling better. But throughout the pain, getting dressed was painful, taking clothes off was painful, going pee, excruciatingly painful because my thighs were fully burnt up, so pulling anything down, it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my whole life. But we pushed through it, we got dressed, and we went down to the buffet to have breakfast. But the thing is, we seem to be getting redder and redder every single minute. So we check in at the buffet, we get seated. One of our waiters, who he was fantastic by the way, came up to us, asked what we wanted to drink, and when he looked at me and Brandon, he went, "Oh, I'll get you a watermelon drink. It's fresh ground up watermelon. I'll get it for you. Yeah, you're okay with ground watermelon? It'll help." And he did this. He went, "It'll help." And I went, "Yeah, perfect, that sounds great." But I will say, the watermelon drink, delicious. It was just ground up watermelon. So we were just consuming a lot of watermelon, trying to put liquid and stay hydrated the best that we could. So we finish eating, we make our way back up to the room, and our skin keeps getting worse. I start developing sun blisters on my forehead and especially on my cheeks.
I'm blistering on my cheeks.
And Brandon was two very drastic different shades from white and red.
But my cheeks are blistering.
What would you rate the buffet and the food that we've had here so far?
Rather it's really good or it's really bad. There's no really in between. Lunch, you know what? Go 8 out of 10. The watermelon juice is pretty good. Freshly squeezed, that was pretty good. Dinner, I'd go 7. Like yet again, dinner was like either is really good or really bad. Breakfast was fine. Like the eggs were they're a lot more moist than what they should be. The sausage is okay. And pancakes were actually really good. I'd give the breakfast probably 6.5. Not a bad experience so far. Other than the sunburn, other than that, it's been pretty good here.
So, out of 10, what would you rate the buffet food so far?
It's a hit or a miss. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Breakfast isn't my favorite. I'd rate breakfast like a 5. Like I'll eat it, but there's not a lot that I like. Supper, I've liked the suppers way more than I've liked the breakfast. Lunch, I'd give it like 7 or 8, and then supper, I'd give it a 7 or an 8. We played even more Monopoly and spent the whole day just sitting in the bed trying not to move. And this was the day that we had made reservations at one of their fancy restaurants to go down and have a nice meal. We debated canceling our reservation because at this point, our kneecaps were so severely sunburned, and for me, my ankles as well were so sunburnt and kind of swollen, and the top of our feet were swollen as well. And it was to the point where we could barely walk. When one of us would have to get up to walk anywhere, whether it's to the bathroom or to answer the door, I was almost on the ground crying, throwing up from the pain. But we decided to suck it up and we went to go have dinner anyway. I will say the restaurant was very nice. The food though, it was a hit or a miss. I don't remember the name of the food that we ordered, but I'll show you photos. These things were delicious. We ordered 2 rounds of them.
How's it look? Yeah? Yeah, it does, hey?
And Brandon ordered, I believe it was some kind of tacos, and they were good. Whereas me, I ordered a steak, and let's just say that was not steak. I have no idea what it was, but I ate it anyway because I didn't want to send it back. Since it was dark and since we were already downstairs, we thought, okay, perfect, we'll walk over to the beach and be like little vampires just sitting in the darkness. So we walked around the outside area of the hotel, looked at the beach, watched the waves crash against the shore in the middle of the night, but eventually it became painful to walk again and stand still for too long that we made our way back up to the hotel room and tried to sleep the best we could. We ordered room service the rest of the days in the morning because we could barely get up and out of the bed. And we started to feel extremely disappointed because we spent all this money on a trip just for us to have so much fun on the first day, get extremely sunburned, and not be able to enjoy the rest of our trip. So we tried to sit by the pool in the morning, but the wind was so hot, it felt like it was still constantly burning our skin, even though we were tucked underneath an umbrella and there was no direct sunlight on us at all. So again, we spent the whole day eventually locked in our room playing Monopoly on my iPad. I swear we probably played at least 20 Monopoly games from being on airplanes in Mexico and then flying back. By this point, we had gone through almost 3 bottles of aloe vera, 2 bottles of lotion, and a lot of Advils. And with us doing that and staying hydrated, it seemed like it was doing nothing. By this point, we were so ready to go home. But we also dreaded the thought of having to go on 3 airplanes just to get back home. On our last day there, our skin seemed to be getting so much worse. We packed up our stuff, went down to the buffet because it was our last day there, so we kind of forced ourselves to walk down there to make sure we ate a lot of food before heading to the airport. We look like we're in disguise. When we checked out, we waited for our shuttle for around 2 hours just in the lobby, again, playing Monopoly. And eventually our shuttle arrived, we got to the airport, and when we got to the airport, we tried this burger place called Johnny's Rocket, which is a burger place. It was pretty good. I got the chicken strips, Brandon got a burger. At this point, we can barely walk. It is painful trying to walk from one side of the airport to another. Even just walking to the bathroom was the most painful thing you can ever imagine. It didn't help that our backpacks were directly on our sunburns, our straps, which was pulling the skin, which was causing tremendous amount of pain for our skin, especially our shoulders and our backs and kind of our armpits area. We sat there for around 2 hours waiting for our flight to board. We even checked to see if there was any one-way flights back to Edmonton so we didn't have to wait as long and have to go from airport to airport, but there wasn't, which means we had to get on 3 different planes and land in 4 different places before we reached home. And we also had a 12-hour layover in Denver. We left Cancun and eventually arrived in Houston, Texas. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this was my least favorite airport I had been to. Nothing against Houston, Texas, but the airport customs was not great. We waited in the custom lines for almost 2 hours. And once we got past customs, we had to run all the way across the airport to even make it to our gate where our flight was already boarding because the lines took forever. Once we're passed through, we began to run. And remember, we can barely walk, so we are forcing ourselves to run, causing more pain for ourselves. Our legs feel like they're gonna give out, and we have maybe not even 5 to 10 minutes to get there. We ran, eventually made it to security, got through like nothing, then had to run another 5 to 7 minutes to get to our gate. My legs were burning so bad and I felt like I was gonna pass out from the pain. But eventually we made it to our gate, boarded our plane, and started heading to Denver. When we landed and I had to stand up for the first time after sitting, it felt like my legs were bleeding underneath my sweatpants and my shorts. And at this point, I could not walk. I was moving so slow to the point where we had no idea where we were. We had to try to get onto the little transit system underneath the airport. Brandon, being the sweetheart that he is, went and grabbed a wheelchair and started pushing me around the airport, trying to get us to the gate that we needed to be closest to, or at least somewhere comfortable enough where we can sit down and stay there for a few hours. My feet were so swollen and red and burnt that they looked like little baby feet. My feet were fat. I had fat feet. While we were sitting there, Brandon fell asleep on the seats, which I'm glad he could fall asleep, but I couldn't lie down at all. So I just went on my iPad, watched some movies, tried not to move as much as I could. And as I sat there, I just hoped that the 12 hours would pass as quickly as possible so we could just get home. We stayed in the one spot for a little bit and then we moved closer to our gate eventually. We kept the wheelchair with us until somebody came and took the wheelchair away and said, "Oh no, you can't have it." And we weren't exactly at our gate at the time. We were kind of down the hall, kind of near where sitting areas are. So this guy took the wheelchair that I needed to walk with. But after what felt like forever, we finally boarded the plane back to Edmonton. We didn't have a wheelchair when we landed, so I had to walk myself from the gate that we came out at, get to customs, but man, I will tell you, I was moving so slow. Everybody was just passing us, and I felt like at that point I could barely lift my feet up off the ground because I was in so much pain. So eventually we made it to customs, checked in, and we made it through. We ended up going to the ER that same day because the pain was so excruciatingly painful. We sat in the ER for almost 5 to 6 hours before we were taken back to be looked at. So not only did we sit in the ER for 5 to 6 hours with extreme sunburns, there's people throwing up around us, it's awful. But when we did get back to see the doctor, she did tell us that we had the beginnings or starting stages of 2nd-degree burns from the sun. And my legs were so painful because not only did I have the beginning stages of 2nd-degree sunburn, but I also had heat rash from when we had to run in the Houston, Texas airport to get from one side of the airport to the other because my pants were rubbing on it and it created heat rash along with sunburn. They wrapped us up like little mummies with antibiotic patches and hospital-grade polysporin and told us to take very high doses of pain meds to reduce the inflammation and to help us not be in as much pain. And it's been almost 2 months now since we got back and my skin is still healing. It doesn't look as... That's an actual burn. I was cooking shrimp and that happened, so just ignore that. But when I go into the sun, my skin still flares up and gets extremely red and spotty. So for the summer, I probably won't be in the sun too much because my skin starts to still burn. But it was an experience and we learned, man, when we go to Mexico next time, we better be putting sunscreen on every 7 minutes because we cooked pretty fast. Lesson to anybody, if it is cloudy in Mexico, Cancun, anywhere, still put on sunscreen. It is not worth it. It's not worth the risk or possibility of long-term damages to your skin and yourself. But I did bring back something from Cancun, which I'm going to show you. Was it worth all of the pain and healing and stuff that my skin and our skin is going through? I'll let you be the judge of that. So I got a little magnet. Is this worth the sunburn? Wow! I also found this when I got home and I finally dealt with my bathing suit because I have bathing suit shorts. There's a little seashell stuck in my pocket. Anyways, you get the point. So were these two things and severe pain worth it? It was an experience. Our first trip to Cancun, Mexico, and it was a disaster, but we are to blame for that. But if you take anything away from this video, it's always wear sunscreen. Especially if you're not used to extremely hot weather, still put on sunscreen. It's better to be safe than sorry and have too much sunscreen on than none at all. But anyways, that's it to Cancun vacation gone wrong. It was disappointing for sure, but the first day we had so much fun, it almost makes up for the fact that we didn't get to enjoy the rest of our trip, but I'm sure we'll go back eventually. And again, we'll be bringing whole tubs of sunscreen. We'll be bathing in it at that point. But let me know down below if you've ever had a severe sunburn, especially from Cancun, Mexico, and how you healed your skin and got it back to how it was. Feel free to write it down in the comments. And if you'd like to see more vlogs kind of styling like this, then feel free to give the video a like and leave a comment where we should go next. But anyways, that concludes our video for today. The one thing that I think we all take away from this video is always wear sunscreen. But anyways, I hope you guys have a good morning, evening, or night, depending when you're watching this. Bye, guys!